The zebra that is a bat. Zeno was a zebra unlike any other. While all the others stood in their herd munching on the grass, Zeno loved nothing more than wearing his big black cape and pretending to be a bat. He squeaked like a bat and flapped his wings like a bat. He even hung upside down like a bat. In fact, he spent so much time in his bat cape, he sometimes forgot he was a zebra. His parents thought it was odd, and his friend thought it was a bit funny, but as long as Zeno was happy, they didn't mind at all. But one day when the zebras were munching and Zeno was hanging in his tree, a new zebra arrived in the herd. He took one look at Zeno and loudly asked, "What's wrong with you? You're not a bat. Why are you acting so weird?" No one had ever said that to Zeno before. Was there something wrong with him? He got down from the tree and looked into the watering hole. His face reflected back at him. It was true. He wasn't a bat. He was a zebra, just like everyone else. That night, when he tried to hang upside down to sleep, the branches broke and Zeno fell to the ground with a crash. Maybe the new zebra was right. Maybe he should start acting like the others. For the first time in what felt like forever, Zeno took off his bat cape. At first, things were going well. Zeno started to copy his friends, doing all the normal zebra-ish things they did. He walked like a zebra, spoke like a zebra, and slept on the ground just like a zebra. "You're so grown up now," his parents said. "Isn't it better to be normal like everyone else?" But Zeno didn't think so. No matter how much he tried to act normal, he still felt like a part of him was missing. Zeno's friend noticed that he wasn't feeling happy. He missed all the fun he used to have with his friend. "Zeno," his friend said, "I don't care what you are, zebra or bat. You are brave, you are kind, and you are my friend because you are you." His friend was right. Zeno knew what he had to do. The next day, as soon as he woke up, he put his bat cape back on. The new zebra saw him and called out, "Looks like Zeno the bat is acting weird again." But Zeno was ready. He knew just what to say. "I like wearing my cape," he said. "If you don't like it, you don't have to wear it." The new zebra was shocked. No one had ever spoken to him like that. He paused for a second and then he asked Zeno a question. "Can I try it on just once?" Zeno couldn't believe it. He took off his cape and threw it over his new friend. Together they squeaked and flapped their wings, and thanks to Zeno's dad fixing the tree branches, they even hung upside down for the rest of the day. "That was so much fun," said Zeno's new friend. "I can't wait to get a cape of my own." When Zeno waved goodbye to his new friend, his parents came up behind him and in their very own bat capes, they gave him a great big hug. "As long as you're happy, you can be anything you want to be. We love you, Zeno." The end. Cosmo faces the forest of fear. Once upon a time, a family let a special golden puppy named Cosmo into their home and into their hearts. This is where this story starts. It soon came as a shock for the family of four that raising a young pup could be such a chore. For the first few months, the floor was covered with pee and the little guy destroyed everything he could see. He bit and pulled and ate his own poo. The troubles of raising a puppy, it seemed, were true. After many long nights, the thought came to give him away, but the idea was dismissed at the children's dismay. And within no time, things became good and right. The golden puppy learned to lick instead of bite. From 4 to 5 the family became. They loved him dearly and he felt the same. Now Cosmo was nearing the age of 1 and the family was going on a vacation for fun. To the grand forest mountains up in the north, with Cosmo's tail wagging, the family set forth. They hadn't been on vacation for long when Cosmo felt that something was wrong. His wagging tail slowed to a stop. He looked around nervously and felt his stomach drop. The tall hills for the family looked fun and cheery, but the golden pup could sense that something was eerie. For every scent of the forest smelled like fear, and the silence of the trees seemed all too queer. "Ruff, ruff!" Cosmo tried to warn his family with a panicked bark, but they couldn't understand the anxiety in his talk. They lay down to sleep in their tent, peaceful at mind, while Cosmo guarded the opening, feeling resigned. The night passed uneventfully to Cosmo's relief. He had jumped to the sound of every moving leaf. He hadn't yet found any reason to fright, but he still knew deep down that something wasn't right. The family set out in the morning to hike. Cosmo stayed alert, ready for something to strike. The last place he wanted to go was into the forest of trees, but there was nothing he could do to express his unease. Everyone seemed carefree and happy except for the golden one. Dad took pictures of Mom, and they watched the kids skip and run. Cosmo ran along at their heels, only stopping for treats. Even in his time of stress, he would not refuse his sweets. It was after lunch when the family realized a terrible fact. The girl was nowhere to be seen, not even a track. The parents screamed in terror and called for help. Cosmo made his decision and ran off with a yelp. Cosmo heard his mother shouting his name, but he knew he must find Sis or live in shame. He could sense that a terrible thing lived in the trees and that given a chance, his sister would be seized. As he ran into the forest, a crow croaked from the canopy of trees as if trying to warn. Cosmo's fear for the forest and love for his sister made him feel torn. But no, his mind was made. He would battle his fright. For his sister he would do anything, not run, but fight. Cosmo was going on his way, sniffing here and there, when out of the bushes flew a creature, giving him a scare. Cosmo barked and got ready to charge, but it was just a skunk, nothing scary or large. A skunk! He turned to flee, but the damage was done. He had been hit with a stink, and there was nowhere to run. The smell was worse than the fishy cat that lived on his street. He knew to remove the odor would be quite the feat. Skunk looked at Cosmo with an apology in his eyes, for he had not meant to spray, but he had been caught by surprise. The golden was quick to forgive, and his tail began to sway. He loved to make new friends, and he always loved to play. But he remembered his mission, so he turned to his new friend and asked about the fearsome forest so that he could learn to fend. Skunk's eyes suddenly filled with fear, and all the light from the forest seemed to disappear. In a hushed voice, Skunk told Cosmo about the forest fright, a creature big and scary and not afraid to bite. Every animal in the forest feared the terrible beast, wondering and worrying when they would be his next feast. A feline, Skunk finally revealed, ruled those high-up peaks, stalking every creature and pouncing on whom he seeks. His eyes, Skunk said, shine like blazing pits. His pointy teeth and jaws of death could bite anything to bits. Having thanked his new friend, Cosmo resumed his journey ahead. Rather than feeling more frightened, he felt surprisingly relieved instead. The monster of the forest, it turned out, was a cat. Cosmo now knew it was just another pesky brat. However, Cosmo's relief quickly disappeared as he came across a scary sight. Some of the cat's last meal was scattered near a tree, having lost a terrible fight. Cosmo's heart once again pounded against his chest from fear, and from deep within the trees the beast watched with a leer. A shrill screech suddenly pierced through the air. Cosmo knew he was going deeper and deeper into the big cat's lair. His eyes scanned the woods for a sign of Sis, and he sniffed all around so there was nothing he would miss. And suddenly, with a cry of relief, the girl ran from the trees. Cosmo let out a bark of joy as his sister gave him a squeeze. He licked the tears from her cheeks and his tail went wild. She hugged him, scrunched her nose at his stink, and finally smiled. After the sweet reunion, they started walking back to camp. Sis smiled down at Cosmo and he felt like a champ. He smiled back up at her as they went on their way, clueless that the feline was secretly hunting his prey. The big cat knew about Cosmo's trip through the trees, and he knew how to defeat the golden with ease. A treat, he thought, is all it will take to make a trustful friend, and once the dog's guard is down, that will be the end. With this thought, the feline readied his attack. He could hardly wait any longer to enjoy his tasty snack, so he watched intently from above in his place for the perfect time to begin his chase. Suddenly, Cosmo heard a branch snap. He wondered if he was leading them into the villain's trap. He stepped in front of Sis and gave a low growl. The silence of the trees made him sense something foul. With one graceful leap, the beast was on the floor. The girl let out a squeak of horror, and Cosmo let out a roar. His body was tense, and his head was up high. He knew he had to pay attention, or this would be goodbye. The big cat stepped forward, a smile on his face. He pushed a treat toward the golden and back to give him some space. Cosmo looked at the snack, his mouth starting to drool. Was this a peace offering or a clever way to fool? The smell of the treat began to draw Cosmo near. He almost gave in, but then he saw his sister shaking with fear. Cosmo snapped out of his greedy daze in a flash. He knew that for the very first time he would simply have to pass. Cosmo shoved the offering away with a swipe of his paw. In the cat's master plan, rejection of the treat was a flaw. The beast's eyes flashed with anger and his teeth gleamed. Cosmo's mind worked fast for an idea as his sister screamed. The monster leapt, his jaws open and ready to eat the two, so Cosmo made a decision and did what he had to do. He lifted his leg, took aim, and let the pea fly. The villain got hit straight in the eyes and let out a cry. As the feline streaked and staggered, his eyes red, Cosmo courageously charged at him with his head. He then used his big paws to give the cat a push. The feline lost his balance and fell on his tush. The big cat tried to get up and fight back, but his eyes burned, and the smelly skunk stink hit him with a smack. Before he could even see, he heard a loud shout, and before he had the chance to flee, he was captured by the park scout. Now the feline was hissing at everyone, obviously enraged. Cosmo let out a victory bark when he saw the villain caged. Mom, Dad, and Bro rushed to him and Sis with tears. They hugged and kissed them both and honored Cosmo with 3 cheers. Cosmo became the hero of the day for Sis and Skunk. He became well known throughout the forest for his wit and spunk. The hills thereafter became warm, friendly, and nice, and the feline ended in the zoo where all he has are mice. The end. Journey to the bright side. Life doesn't seem fair to Pickles the porcupine. Why do I have to share my toys with my sister? He whines. I don't want to take a bath. Evergreen leaves for dinner again? Stop being so grumbly, Mom finally says. Instead of complaining, I'd wish you'd look for the bright side. Where's the bright side? Asked Pickles. It's out there somewhere, and it will be up to you to find it. Moms always know best. So Pickles sets off to search for the bright side. After a while, Pickles arrives at a tall mountain. He meets a tortoise named Tank. Is this the bright side? Pickles asks. Tank looks around. Bright side? Oh no, he answers slowly as tortoises always do. But I've been there, and it's dazzling. What's it like on the bright side? Pickles asks. It will make you happy, even when you're sad. That's how you will know you have found the bright side, says Tank. It's out there somewhere, but you will need to find it for yourself. Pickles clenches his fist as he follows the path. He continues on, finally arriving at a grassy hill. He meets a shy mayfly named Maisie hiding behind a golden daffodil. Is this the bright side? This must be it, Pickles shouts. Maisie peeks out from behind the bright yellow petals. This is not the bright side, but I was there this morning and it's delightful. What's it like? Pickles asks. Oh, you will feel peaceful, even when you're upset. That's how you will know you've found the bright side, says Maisie, flying out into the sunshine. It's out there somewhere, so you must keep searching. Pickles stomps in the dirt as he follows the path. Soon he arrives at an oversized pile of rocks. He meets a snake named Sebastian. Is this the bright side? Please tell me this is it, begs Pickles. Sebastian hisses. Bright side? No, but I've been there before and it's glistening. What's it like? Asks Pickles. It will make you feel loved, even when you're grumpy. That is how you'll know you're on the bright side. It's out there somewhere, but it's up to you to find it. Pickles huffs as he follows the path, all the way to the other side of the rocks. What he sees is not what he expects. Oh no, he says. The bright side is supposed to be here. Pickles digs through the rocks. He doesn't find what he's looking for, but he does find a glistening rock with silver specks. My sister will think this is cool. He slips the rock in his backpack, and his heart feels happy. Pickles splashes in a nearby pond. There's no bright side here, he says with a sigh, But he does find the moon as dazzling as can be, glowing back at him from the water. It reminds him of late-night swims and floating on his back with Dad, and his mind feels peaceful. Pickles peers behind a row of evergreen trees. He still doesn't find what he's looking for, but he does get a delightful whiff of evergreen in his nose. It reminds him of Mom's yummy evergreen soup. He smiles, remembering the feel of the warm soup in his belly, and he feels love for his family. When Pickles arrives home later that evening, he tells his family about his journey. "I didn't find the bright side," he says. "But look!" He hands his sister the special rock he found. He tells his family of his late-night swim in the moonlight. They smile as they eat their evergreen soup. "Sounds like you had a wonderful journey," says Mom. "I did, but I am happy to be home now." They hug each other tightly. It seems for the bright side has been found after all, by a young porcupine who isn't so grumbly anymore. The end. The Naughty Sheep. I toss and turn, I cannot sleep. I close my eyes and count some sheep. 1 sheep, 2 sheep, 3 sheep. With tutu and ballet shoes too, the 4th sheep makes her way through. A skip, a leap, a jump and prance. Soon comes a hop and then a dance. Pirouette she does instead before she bows and moves ahead. No time to wonder what was that. The sheep is now an acrobat. First cartwheels and a somersault, a split and then a sudden halt. "Hey sheep, you really must admit I'm not yet sleepy. Not one bit." The sheep pulls out a clarinet, not knowing if I'll laugh or fret. I start to hear a piercing squeak. It's very shrill, just like a shriek. "Hey sheep, you're such a loud musician. Maybe find another mission." The sheep holds plates on one thin stick. "Is this a circus? What a trick." The sheep sticks out its tongue that's blue. She winks and gestures peekaboo. "Why can't you act like normal sheep? I really need to sleep." She's gone away, she heard my calls, but now she's back and juggling balls. "You naughty sheep, I'm still awake. Did candy make you wild or cake?" That sheep is singing karaoke, noisy and extremely croaky. "Sheep, there's something else to try. Hey, how about a lullaby?" I'm oh so tired, that sheep can tell. She calls the others with a bell. 1 sheep, 2 sheep, 3 sheep. My new friend yawns and so do I. Then finally she waves goodbye. But wait, before you have to go, there's something that I want to know. How do sheep go to sleep? Do they count other sheep? The end. The benefits of unicorn earwax. If you are lucky enough to stumble upon a unicorn, you'll be amazed by its colorful horn. It may even be a benefit for you to ask, "May I borrow a bit of earwax?" Now, that may seem strange and quite bizarre, but unicorn earwax is the greatest miracle cure by far. It is a well-known fact that unicorn earwax cures the common cold. And the secret is that it even kills stinky mold. I even once heard a rumor. Some say that it improves your sense of humor. If you want to eliminate cellulite or get rid of wrinkles, then apply unicorn earwax, which looks like frosting with sprinkles. Make sure that you apply it day and night. It will keep you looking just right. If you are struggling in school, a teaspoon a day is the rule. It will help you solve the math problems that you don't know how to do, and it will surely help to raise your IQ. The secret is, it even tastes yummy and oh so sweet, so a spoonful a day is the easiest medicine to eat. Unicorn earwax makes the best lip balm, everyone agrees. And it keeps you from having 2 squeaky knees. It is the absolute best gift for your mother. Oh, and do you have a pesky little brother? Well, it can help you with that. Wait, that does not rhyme. But seriously, a unicorn is the very best friend to keep. Even if you never meet a unicorn in real life, something magical happens when you sleep. You may drift off to dreamland with cotton candy clouds so sweet, and maybe, just maybe, a unicorn you will meet. She will have that magical earwax in her ears, but you have to go say hi before she disappears. So, if you ever stumble on a unicorn while you slumber, please, oh please, would you give them my number? The end. 𝗬𝗓𝗏 𝗧𝗶𝗺 𝗧𝗶𝗺, a picture-perfect rainbow day. This is 𝗬𝗓𝗏 the rainbow witch. She wears a rainbow dress and a picture-perfect rainbow hat. 𝗬𝗓𝗏 lives in a wonderful world made of sweet candy. There is a lazy lemonade river and puffy purple and big blue cotton candy clouds. It is the most picture-perfect place you could ever see. One magical day, 𝗬𝗏 went for a wonderful whirly walk down Pastry Path. She came across a friendly frog. He was sitting in a comfy chair made of gooey gumdrops. He looked at 𝗬𝗏 and said, "Hello, my name is Fudge the Frog. I like your hat." "Oh, thank you. My name is 𝗬𝗏𝗏 the Rainbow Witch, and this is my picture-perfect rainbow hat. I love it," said Fudge. "I wish I had a picture-perfect rainbow hat, too." "As you wishy wish," she said. With a whirl and twirl of her rainbow dress and a wave of her swirly-whirly wand, poof! Fudge now had his very own picture-perfect rainbow hat. "Thank you, 𝗬𝗏. You have made this the most picture-perfect rainbow day." 𝗬𝗏 smiled and went on her wonderful whirly way. 𝗬𝗏 came across a cuddly cat laying by Peppermint Palace. She looked at 𝗬𝗏 and said, "Hello, my name is Coco the cat. I like your hat." "Oh, thank you. My name is 𝗬𝗏𝗏 the Rainbow Witch, and this is my picture-perfect rainbow hat. I love it," said Coco. "I wish I had a picture-perfect rainbow hat, too." "As you wishy wish," she said. With a whirl and twirl of her rainbow dress and a wave of her swirly-whirly wand, poof! Coco now had her very own picture-perfect rainbow hat. "Thank you, 𝗬𝗏. You have made this the most picture-perfect rainbow day." 𝗬𝗏 smiled and went on her wonderful whirly way. 𝗬𝗏 came across a bouncy bunny playing in Marshmallow Meadow. He looked at 𝗬𝗏 and said, "Hello, my name is Butterscotch the bunny. I like your hat." "Oh, thank you. My name is 𝗬𝗏𝗏 the Rainbow Witch, and this is my picture-perfect rainbow hat." "I love it," said Butterscotch. "I wish I had a picture-perfect rainbow hat, too." "As you wishy wish," she said. With a whirl and twirl of her rainbow dress and a wave of her swirly-whirly wand, poof! Butterscotch now had his very own picture-perfect rainbow hat. "Thank you, 𝗬𝗏. You have made this the most picture-perfect rainbow day." 𝗬𝗏 thought about how fabulously fun it was making new friends and helping others. "Friendly friends are my favorite way to make a picture-perfect rainbow day," said 𝗬𝗏. She smiled and went on her wonderful whirly way. The end. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to check out the links in the description box. I'll see you in the next story time.